Nobody really tells you this when you start working on yourself.
Who are you?
Not your friends, not the books, not even the people who call themselves mentors.
What do you like?
Everyone loves to say, you can change your life in 30 days.
Or you just
And you kind of want to believe it because 30 days doesn't sound that bad, right? Like a month, that's doable. That's close enough to feel real. You think, okay, I'll fix my habits. I'll start waking up early. I'll finally get my life together. So you start, and the first week feels good. You're hyped, motivated. New morning routine, new mindset, maybe even a new notebook. You start thinking, yeah, this time I'm actually going to make it. Then week 2 hits. You wake up tired, you skip one day, you scroll for a bit, and then you tell yourself, it's fine, I'll get back on track tomorrow. But that tomorrow never really comes. By day 25, you're back where you started, just with another failed attempt behind you. And it sucks, because now you're not just tired, you're disappointed. You start thinking you're the problem, like maybe you're just lazy. Maybe you're not built for this discipline thing. But that's not true. You're not broken. You're just stuck in what I call the 30-day illusion. See, nobody tells you this part. The first month of change isn't actually change. It's your old self fighting for control. It's your brain screaming to go back to what's easy, to what it knows. Every time you try to grow, your comfort zone panics. It starts whispering excuses, take a break. You deserve rest, just one day off. And if you're not ready for that voice, it wins, every time. I used to think I was weak because I kept quitting, but now I know that's just what the beginning looks like. Change doesn't feel good at first. It feels heavy, confusing, like you're running uphill with no finish line in sight. And when it gets too quiet, too lonely, most people give up. They think it's not working because it doesn't feel good, but that's the trap, the illusion. The first 30 days aren't supposed to feel good. They're supposed to break the version of you that keeps holding you back. That's why it's painful. That's why it's messy. You're not failing. You're transforming. It just doesn't look pretty yet, and that's okay. Here's the part nobody shows online, the quiet days, the days where nothing feels different, where you're doing everything right, but it's like you're stuck in place. No big wins, no motivation, just you, your routine, and silence. That's where most people quit. Not because they're lazy, but because silence feels like failure. We live in a world where everything has to look productive, where if you don't have results to post, it feels like you're doing nothing. But growth doesn't always announce itself. Most of it happens when nobody's watching. I used to hate those quiet days. I'd look at everyone else online, people hitting goals, getting fit, making money, and I'd feel like I was behind. Meanwhile, I was just trying to stay consistent, doing the same boring stuff every day. Wake up, journal, train, work, sleep, repeat. No fireworks, no validation, just repetition. But one morning, I realized something. That boredom, that's actually progress. Because when life gets quiet, you're not going backward. You're building stability. You're creating a version of yourself that doesn't need constant dopamine to stay on track. And that's rare. See, discipline isn't about intensity. It's about showing up when the excitement dies. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But staying consistent when it's boring, that's where the real change happens. You won't notice it at first. Nobody does. There's no dramatic music, no aha moment. But slowly the fog starts to clear. You realize you're calmer. You think before you react. You stop negotiating with yourself every morning. You just do it. That's the invisible work. The kind of progress that doesn't trend, doesn't get likes, but completely rewires who you are. It's in those small moments when you choose to show up even though no one's clapping. When you keep your promises even though no one would know if you didn't. When you go to the gym on a bad day. When you say no to comfort, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. No one sees that part. They'll only see the results later and call you lucky or naturally disciplined. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was built in the dark. So if you're there right now, in that quiet season where it feels like nothing's working, don't give up. You're not stuck. You're growing roots. And roots don't make noise. They just keep going underground until one day they break through the surface. That's what real change looks like. Silent, steady, unstoppable. There's this point that always comes. No matter who you are, no matter how strong your mindset seems. It's the part where you wake up one day and think, why am I even doing this? You've been showing up for weeks, maybe months, and you look around and it's like nothing's changed. You're still tired, still stressed, still fighting the same battles inside your head. That's the part no one prepares you for. Not the start, the middle. The messy middle, where progress isn't visible and motivation's gone. Where it feels like life is testing how much you actually want it. I've been there, more than once. The days when I'd sit on my bed at 11 p.m., scrolling through my old notes, thinking maybe I should just take a break. But deep down, I knew what that really meant. It meant giving up, again. And I was tired of restarting. Here's something I learned the hard way. Every time you quit, you teach your brain that giving up is an option. And every time you push through even once, you prove that you can trust yourself. That's where confidence actually comes from. Not from motivation, not from hype, but from keeping promises no one else even knows about. It's easy to show up when you feel strong, but what defines you is what you do when you feel nothing. When you're drained, when no one's cheering you on, when the results are invisible. That's when character is built, not in the highlight moments, but in the quiet ones. When you whisper, "I'll do it anyway." You'll cry sometimes, you'll doubt yourself. You'll want to go back to comfort, to distraction, to the version of you that didn't care so much. And that's okay. You're human. But don't let temporary pain destroy permanent progress. Because here's the thing. That pain you feel right now, that's the old you breaking apart. It's supposed to hurt. You're not losing yourself. You're outgrowing yourself. Keep going. Even when it doesn't make sense. Even when it's quiet. Even when you feel like the smallest step isn't enough. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that those tiny, half-hearted steps were the ones that actually changed everything. And you know what's funny? After a while, the goal stops being about results. You stop chasing that one big change. The abs, the money, the perfect routine. You just want peace. You just want to wake up and trust yourself again. That's what real transformation feels like. Not hype, not fireworks. Just quiet confidence, knowing you'll show up even when it's not easy. Somewhere along the way, you stop counting days. You don't care if it's day 27 or day 63. You just live it. Because now, the habits aren't something you try to do. They're part of who you are. That's when you realize the 30-day illusion was never about time. It was about patience. It tricked you into thinking change has a deadline. But growth doesn't care about your calendar. It happens when it's ready, when you are. People will start noticing. They'll ask, "What happened to you?" And you won't even have an answer, because nothing happened. You just stopped quitting. You stopped rushing the process and started respecting it. The truth is, you won't see the change day by day. You'll see it all at once. In the way you speak, the way you handle stress, the way you don't let small things ruin your mood anymore. You'll catch yourself doing something that used to scare you, and it'll hit you. I'm not the same person anymore. That's what this whole thing is about. Not 30 days, not motivation. Becoming someone you can rely on. Someone who does what they said they'd do. Even when no one's watching. And yeah, it takes time. More than a month, sometimes years. But when you finally get there, when you realize you built this version of yourself from the ground up, it's the best feeling in the world. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you got stronger. So don't chase quick change. Don't fall for the illusion. Let it take time. Let it be slow. Let it be real. Because one day you'll look back at this version of you, the tired one and the uncertain one, the one who kept showing up anyway, and you'll realize that was the moment everything started. The 30-day illusion ends the second you stop counting and start becoming.